author of 50 plus books. Dr. Khandbale's scholarship spans from Indian philosophy, ethics, management, governance, and spirituality. His internationally acclaimed work, Koham, Who Am I? Dr. Khandbale continues to articulate a future oriented paradigm of human artificial spiritual intelligence rooted in Indian wisdom and global responsibility. I have only read a small part from the vast, extensive biodata. I now request Dr. Khandwale sir to come ahead for his keynote address.
Thank you. So, are we good to go? Yeah, thank you. Hari Om. In fact, I think good afternoon, respected dignitaries, Honorable Vice Chancellor, distinguished faculty members, researchers, scholars, and dear students. It's a privilege and a joy for me to be here today at a National Multidisciplinary Conference, Dnyandarshan 2026. My sincere thanks to School of Continuing Education and the School of Health Science of Yashwantrao Chauhan, Maharashtra Open University for inviting me. I'm particularly happy to be speaking at the university, an institution that truly represents the inspiring spirit of Jnana Ganga Gharoghari, knowledge reaching every home. And that vision is very powerful. Because education today is no longer limited to classrooms. Knowledge must travel. It must reach people across cities, across villages, and most importantly, across languages. And this conference theme beautifully reflects the spirit. The theme is Dnyandarshan, a convergence of digital transformation, Indian knowledge system, sustainable innovation, and holistic wellness. At first glance, these may look like four different domains, but in reality, they are deeply interconnected. Indian knowledge system holds centuries of accumulated wisdom. Sustainable development demands ethical and responsible innovations, and holistic wellness requires harmony between body, mind, and consciousness. So the real question before us today is not simply about the technology. The real question is, how do we combine technological power with timeless wisdom of human well-being? Since we are talking about IKS and health, let's begin this session with Om chanting with a deep breathing exercise. Will that be okay? Yes, thank you. So let us be straight and have a deep breathing, and then while exhaling, we'll recite the Omkar. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much. So today, I'll not only speak about ideas. Being an entrepreneur, I always love to talk about the application of philosophy or application of theory. So I'll share three applied initiatives from my own journey as an entrepreneur and researcher. So I promise you, you will love it. So earlier keynote speaker has done a wonderful job in setting up the stage. The context was there. So he has done my job much easy. And now we'll walk on a journey of application of those theories and principles from our ancient wisdom. So I'm going to talk about three initiatives where technology meets Indian wisdom. The first is spirituality maps. So technological navigation tool for Indian knowledge systems. The second is Samay Sangeet, a digital platform for exploring Indian classical music as a tool for mental wellness. And the third, universal righteousness principles, a research-based framework for ethical governance and sustainable innovation. Each of these three represents an attempt to translate ancient wisdom into practical modern tools. My invention today, or rather my intention now here, is not to present abstract philosophy. Rather, I want to share a solution-based entrepreneurial experiments, ideas that combine research, technology, and traditional knowledge to address contemporary challenges. So let me begin with the first one. The first one is a spirituality maps, navigation for the inner journey. So it sounds very interesting. Let me start with a simple question. How many of you remember traveling before Google Maps existed? So most of us have experienced it, right? So when we plan a journey to, let us say, a new city, the journey itself was often very stressful. We had to ask people repeatedly numerous questions. Which road should I take? Is this the right direction? How far the destination is? And sometimes we took wrong turns. Sometimes we get lost. We wasted time. We consumed extra fuel. And often we arrived late. It did not matter whether someone was highly educated or illiterate. So everyone had the same frustration, kind of. Then something remarkable happened. Invention of digital navigation systems like Google Maps that changed everything. Suddenly, travel becomes simple. With one device in your hand, and you know where you are now, where you want to go, how long it will take, which route is best, which transport option is available. So even someone who cannot read can travel across the world today without asking anyone for direction, without getting lost, and often with better experience. You can discover new places along the way. You save time, you save cost, and the journey itself becomes enjoyable. So now let us pause for a moment and think about something deeper. Just like a physical travel or a physical journey, life itself is also a journey. Am I right? And spirituality is the inner journey of human consciousness. But here we face a very interesting problem. For traveling in physical world, we have maps. But for traveling in the inner world, we have no navigation system. As a result, many sincere seekers experienced confusion. They read many books, they follow many teachers, they hear different philosophies, and sometimes they feel lost in the journey. This observation led me to the fundamental question. Being an entrepreneur and being a technocrat, I happen to ask myself, if we can create digital navigation system for physical journeys, can we also create navigation systems for spiritual journey? And that question eventually led me to the creation of something I call spirituality maps, a technology enabled framework that helps spiritual seekers navigate their personal journey. Just like a digital map tells you where you are and where you want to go and how to reach over there, spirituality maps help a seeker understand where I am on the path of self discovery, what stages exist ahead, what practice help move forward, what milestones appears along the journey, and most importantly, what is the final destination. The story of spirituality maps begin with a deeply personal experience I would like to share with you. Many years ago, after completing my studies at MIT Boston in the United States, I returned to India. And before resuming my professional journey, I visited my long-term and long-time technology mentor, Dr. Vijay Bhatkar sir, a pioneer of Indian supercomputing. I asked him, sir, what's next for me? He has been always my mentor, and he gave me a very simple suggestion. He said, Sunil, you should go and meet spiritual master in Alandi. And that is how I came to meet Dr. Kisan Maharaj Sakre, an enlightened spiritual guru at Sadhak Ashram in Alandi. So I was there for 4 years after coming from USA, trying to learn. And during my very first encounter, I would say, or very first meeting, Maharaj asked me a question, a very simple question. He asked, who you are, or who are you? And I thought it was an easy question. So I immediately replied, without thinking, I am Sunil Khandbahale. He smiled and said, that is the name given by your parents to you, but I ask you, who are you? I thought again and answered, I'm a software engineer. And he replied, that is the work you do, but I ask you, who are you? And at that moment, I realized something profound. My education, my degrees, my profession, none of them answered this simple question. For the first time in my life, I felt intellectually silent. So I surrendered and said, Maharaj, my intellect does not know the answer beyond this. So please guide me to discover who am I. And from that day onwards, a long dialogue began, a dialogue of questions and reflections about the self-discovery. And because of my background in technology, I developed a habit. I started documenting the discussion. I began mapping concepts. I created mind maps of spiritual ideas. And gradually I started seeing pattern, connections, structures, level of understandings. And what once appeared abstract slowly began formatting a structured framework. And then over the years, under the kind guidance of Dr. Kisan Maharaj Sakre and Honorable Dr. Vijay Bhatkar sir, these conceptual maps evolved into a digital system. What was once on the paper became interactive. And today, these spirituality maps can be explored digitally. They allow seekers to navigate concepts visually, zoom into deeper layers of knowledge, understand relationship between the different philosophies, trace the stages of inner development, and most importantly, a seeker can pause and reflect where I am today in my journey, what lies ahead, and what practices can guide the next step. So, in today's world, why it matters? Because we face a very interesting paradox. We have advanced technologies, but rising stress, confusion, and existential anxiety. So, we have information abundance now, but often wisdom scarcity. So, Indian knowledge system contains extraordinary insights about human consciousness, but many people struggle to access them in a very structured and relatable way. Spirituality maps attempt to bridge that gap. So, being an entrepreneur and as a researcher, I always try to find out the gap. So, what is the gap? They bring together ancient wisdom. So, this is the solution: structured thinking and modern digital tools. So that seekers, students, researchers, and practitioners can explore the inner science of consciousness in an accessible format. So now, instead of you must be curious about knowing what it is. So instead of explaining only through words and theoretically, let me show you a small example. It is a very vast and broad topic, so it will take like hours and hours or days and days. A tiny sample from much larger framework of spirituality maps. An example drawn from the Indian knowledge system and the dialogues with my guru, just to demonstrate how complete a very complex philosophies or ideas can be visualized and navigated through technology. So let us take a look. So Aditya, please first video. Spirituality maps. Yes, please. The audio is there, right?
Have you ever asked yourself, who am I? Beyond the body, beyond the mind. What is the true essence of who you really are? In a world full of distractions, we often forget to ask the most important question. What is my true nature? Am I just this body? Or am I more than my thoughts and emotions? What happens after death? What is the purpose of my life? Why do I sometimes feel happy and at other times sad? Why do I behave the way I do, and why do others behave the way they do towards me? These are deep, fundamental questions that many of us ask at some point in our lives. Are you simply your thoughts, your emotions, your experiences? Or is there something deeper, something eternal within you? This course is designed to help you dive into these very questions
online course
and uncover the answers that lie within
since
you.
launched last
This
year, 1
journey
year
is
back.
not just about
We have more than 3,000
It's about
seekers have
transformation.
taken this course very
Are
successfully.
you ready to begin? Join us and experience the peace, clarity, and bliss of self-realization.
So this is
The
based on
answers
the
to
book
life's
which I
deepest
was able to
questions
write.
are waiting for you. Right here, right now.
So I think video is there. It will continue. Yeah. So next, just. So I think the video is like quite long. So the actual navigation system, you can see it online also, or if we have a time, we'll navigate the system. Actually, it zoom into. It's just like a Google map. It zooms into any particular space. You get to know where we are now, or where I am now, and where I have to travel. What are the places, or what are the philosophies I can explore. So that was the first part. Now we'll move to the second part with respect to the time. Now let me move to the second contribution. The first initiative was the spirituality maps, was about navigating the inner journey of consciousness. And the second initiative is about something equally important, the mental health. Because since this conference has been arranged by the continuous education department and also I think health and science, so I must be talking about it also. And since I have something to present, why should not I? So this is about the mental health. Before I begin, allow me to share a few observations about the future we are entering into. By year 2050, 80% of the world's population will live in cities. So this rapid urbanization will accelerate dramatically. Cities will grow bigger, but along with the opportunity, new challenges will also grow. Overcrowding, pollution, new ideas, new diseases, climate related disasters, and rising psychological stress. So, public health systems across the world are already under pressure. And the situation in India highlights the challenges clearly. So, according to WHO, that is World Health Organization, a recommended doctor to population ratio is one doctor per every 1,000 people. So that is the recommended one. But in India, the reality is very different. We have roughly one doctor for every 1,600 or 1,700 people. And in the many rural areas, the gap is even larger. So public health spending is another concern. India spends roughly 2% of its GDP on a public health, while many developed nations spends 6 to 7% or even more. And the result is visible everywhere. Overburdened doctors, long waiting queues, delayed diagnosis, and systemic stress during the health crisis like pandemic. But there is another dimension of health that often receives a very less attention, and that is mental health. So mental health is becoming one of the largest silent epidemic of our time. According to the global estimates, more than 150 million people in India alone requires mental health support. Yet the availability of the specialist is extremely limited. India has approximately zero point 0.3 psychiatrists per 100,000 people, which means roughly one psychiatrist for more than 300,000 people. So just imagine that one specialist for the population of almost an entire town, which is a serious affair. And after a COVID-19 pandemic, we witnessed something even more concerning, a dramatic rise in depression, anxiety, loneliness, burnout. Clearly, the healthcare challenge before us cannot be solved by speed alone. So it requires something deeper, holistic thinking, which this conference talks about. And technology must work together with tradition of human well-being. And this realization led me to second initiative, that is Samay Sangeet, a technology platform for music-based mental wellness. The story begins during the COVID-19 pandemic. Those were extremely uncertain times. We don't have to spell it out. People were afraid. Hospitals were under pressure, and the anxiety was spreading faster than the virus itself. So during those difficult months, I noticed something very personal. While many people around me were feeling deeply stressed, I often felt much calmer. And when I reflected on the reason, I realized something very simple. I was listening regularly to Indian classical music, particularly during those different times of the day. And the effect on my mind was remarkable. The music seems to create balance, it reduced stress, it created clarity. That observation led me to a question. If music can influence our emotional states, can it be also become a structured wellness tool? So that was my entrepreneurial spirit once again thinking about. So I began researching. And what I discovered was fascinating. Across multiple scientific studies worldwide, researchers have observed a powerful phenomenon. And that is when the right music is heard at the right time, it can positively influence the mind, body, and your emotional states. At the same time, I rediscovered something deeply rooted in the Indian wisdom or Indian tradition, and that is Indian classical music has long believed in the concept of time specific ragas. So certain ragas are meant for the morning, some for the afternoon, some for the evening, and some for the night. Similarly, ragas are also associated with the different seasons of the year. So this knowledge tradition goes back centuries. Its origin can be traced to the musical heritage connected with the Samveda, one of the oldest texts associated with the Indian musical expression. In other words, what modern science is discovering today, ancient Indian wisdom had already observed it. So, once again, my technology background pushed me towards a practical question. If Indian music recognizes the time based emotional states, can we build a digital platform that automatically delivers the right music at the right time? And that question led to the creation of Samay Sangeet. At first, it was a very small experiment. I started compiling the collection of Indian classical records, vocal and instrumentals. Then I designed a very simple software. The system would automatically play music based on the specific time of the day, morning music, evening music, night ragas, and so on. So it was a pilot program. I shared it with a small group of friends and my colleagues and asked for their honest feedback. So that is the research and methodology process, right? The responses were encouraging. People reported feelings like more relaxed, less anxious. Encouraged by this feedback, we expanded the program. We added hundreds and thousands of literally the recordings. We improved the software. We made the system autonomous. And eventually, this small experiment evolved into a public digital platform. So on February 4th, 2021, we launched the platform called Samay Sangeet. The date was very special. It was 100th birth anniversary of one of the greatest legend of Indian classical music, none other than Bharat Ratna Pandit Bhimsen Joshi. For me personally, his voice had always been deeply inspiring. His devotional singing had profound emotional impact on my personal life. So launching Samay Sangeet on that particular day felt like a sincere digital tribute. Today, Samay Sangeet is accessible through a simple web platform listened by over 2.5 million regular listeners across the world. So it was only so it works on any mobile phone or computer. The system automatically streams classical music aligned with the 8 different segments of the day and 6 different seasons of the year. The good part is user need not to search. So this they simply open the platform and click on play button, and the system delivers the music appropriate to the moment in the time. So during the COVID-19, let me share you the impact of it. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we shared this Samay Sangeet platform with the hospitals and COVID care centers. The feedback where we received was deeply moving. Doctors reported calmer environment. Patients were relieved. The ward was silent. Patients shared testimonials about feelings less anxious. Some even described the music as a source of emotional strength during the recovery. So, of course, the music is not just a substitute for medical treatments, but it can be a powerful complementary wellness support system, I guess. In many cases, patients described it as a lifeline during the isolation. Today, Samay Sangeet continues to evolve, and my team and I, at our laboratory, we are working on the next generation of this technology. The future direction includes like a personalized music therapy, music recommendation based on emotional states, AI-assisted therapeutic sound environments, and disease-specific mental wellness support also. So several international universities now have also shown interest in collaborating on this research. because of the intersection of music, neuroscience, and technology is one of the most promising frontier of wellness innovation worldwide. So when we think about the healthcare innovation, um, we often imagine new drugs, new medicines, new infrastructure, new hospitals. But sometimes innovations also means rediscovering ancient wisdom and applying it with modern tools. Samay Sangeet is one such attempt to bring together Indian classical music, digital technology, and mental well-being. So now, instead of describing once again this in the world, let me demonstrate the technology for you. So would you mind playing the video number 2? Samay Sangeet. So you go to web platform, you just type Samay Sangeet or the website is there on khandbahale.org. So this is late afternoon raga is about to play. Is going on. Multani by Pandit Jasraj. So there are these different instrumental as well as vocal. Yeah. I think the streaming is. It is very simple platform. You don't need to have a very technology expertise. Raj Janapuri, James City. So with respect to time, I'm going to give you the links to all these platforms or the technologies I'm about to. Yes, please. Okay. So just with respect to time, we'll move ahead. And now I'm going to talk about the third research, that is universal righteousness principles. So this talks about the values, human values. Let me now come to the third contribution I wish to share today. The first initiative was about navigating the inner journey, that was spirituality maps. The second was about this mental wellness through music. And the third is about even something more fundamental to human values and the role of ethics in shaping the future of society, business, and technology. So let me begin with a simple observation. Today, humanity has achieved extraordinary progress. We all witness that. We have powerful technologies, artificial intelligence, global connectivity. We talk about scientific breakthroughs. Yet, at the same time, we face troubling paradox. While innovation is rising, trust is declining. Across the world, we see widening inequalities. So global economic studies shows that the very small percentage of people hold wealth comparable to the vast majority of humanity. In some estimates, the wealth of just few percent of the population, I don't have to give you the number, but equals to that the remaining 90+% of the population. At the same time, the race is even for more wealth continues, more profit, more growth, more consumption. Sometimes even natural resources are not spared. So forests disappear, rivers are polluted, and ecosystems are stretched to their limits. So why is this happening, all these things? If we pause and reflect honestly, we must ask ourselves a difficult question. And that is humanity becoming more intelligent but less wise? In many sectors, we see declining public trust, corporate scandals, financial frauds, data privacy violations, institutions that once were respected suddenly losing credibility. This is not merely an economic issue. I think it is the moral challenge of our era. So my own research journey began with a very simple but powerful question. Because there are so many scholars here, I would like to spell it out once again. So every research starts with a very simple thought or observation. And for me, it was what makes a business morally right? Being, entrepreneur and working closely with the corporate sector since last 25 or 30 years. So, what makes the business morally right? That was the real question. Not just profitable, not just legally compliant, but truly righteous. This question did not come from a textbook, it came from my life. Many years ago, I watched a global technology leader appearing before a government hearing related to a major data privacy controversy once I worked with. Here was someone admired across the world for innovation and brilliance. At that moment, he was not defending a technological mistake. He was struggling to explain the moral failure. That moment stayed with me. It forced me to ask a deeper question. How can brilliant organizations with talented people and sophisticated systems still make decisions that damage the trust? Why do ethical failures continues even when we have so many rules and compliance frameworks? And most importantly, how do we prevent them? So that is the real question. My curiosity was also shaped by something very personal. So I grew up in a family where formal education was limited, but values were strong. My parents did not have the opportunity to attend the school. I'm so glad that my teacher is here in the audience and my guru is there. So he's the one who gave us the education. My parents and my gurus did not have the opportunity to do so many things that they believed, and they often told us something very simple. Being right is more important. I repeat, being right is more important than being rich. So those words stayed with me. Later, as an entrepreneur working in the technology sector for more than 2 decades, I witnessed both sides of the corporate world: brilliance, innovation, success, and whatnot, but also pressure, competition, and sometimes moral compromises. And I began asking myself, why do some organizations consistently do the right things while other fails? Is there something deeper than compliance that guides ethical leadership? And my this curiosity eventually evolved into my doctoral research. The central idea I explored was something I call universal righteousness principles, or simply URP. The core idea is very simple. Rules and policies are important, but they are not sufficient. Ethical governance requires something very deeper, an inner moral compass that can guide decisions makers to do the right things even when no one is watching. So that is very important. You do many times we do right things when someone is watching us, but righteousness is something to do things right, morally right, when no one is watching us. And my research therefore asked a very central question: can universal moral principles strengthen corporate governance and build greater trust among the stakeholders? Because the audience today, once again, I said many scholars and researchers, please allow me to briefly share how this inquiry was conducted and I adopted. Since Kanchi sir is here, I'm looking forward for his feedback also. I adopted a mixed method research design, sir. This means the study should combine qualitative insights with quantitative evidence or validation. First, I conducted in-depth conversation with more than 150 experts. This includes business leaders, governance specialists, board members, and scholars. Instead of asking a technical question, I asked something very simple. What makes governance truly ethical? And another question, what is missing in today's systems? The answers were fascinating. Across industries and professions, certain words appeared again and again: integrity, intent, responsibility, humanity. And from this conversation, three major pillars of universal righteousness principles began to emerge: ethics, leadership, and inclusivity. But research cannot rely on only conversations, right? It also requires empirical validation. So the second phase of the study analyzed governance practices across multiple multinational organizations operating in cities such as Nasik, Pune, and Mumbai. Large volume of stakeholders, feedback, and organizational data were examined. The result revealed something very powerful. Organizations where ethical awareness was stronger tended to demonstrate better governance practices and stronger stakeholder trust. In simple terms, when leaders act with righteousness, governance becomes stronger. So, walk the talk in short terms. And when governance becomes stronger, the trust grows. However, I wanted to go beyond the observation, and that was my case study. I wanted to see whether ethical awareness could actually be strengthened deliberately. So, this word deliberately is very important. So, I designed a structured awareness program on URP. Participants were evolved or evaluated before and after the program. Statistics tools were used. The results showed measurable improvements in ethical awareness before and after. So this confirmed something important. Values are not merely abstract ideals. They can be cultivated through education, dialogues, and reflection. So we must be vocal about that. And when that happens, governance culture improves. Based on these insights, the research proposes the practical framework. So this is the contribution of my research, a model where corporate governance is not driven only by compliance, but anchored in righteousness. Because compliance answers the question, as we know, tick mark, tick mark, tick, tick, tick. So that gives you the answer, like, or ask the question, is it legal? But righteousness asks it. And this framework is now being shared with organizations, governing bodies like SEBI, educators, and policymakers as a possible pathway towards more ethical and sustainable governance. So that is going to be, I'm glad to share here, that is going to be our emerging as a new Indian governance model, sir, so called. Thank you. Interestingly, this idea is not new. Indian knowledge traditions have emphasized moral responsibility for thousands of years. So concepts such as dharma, satya, ahimsa, not just philosophical ideas, they were meant to guide everyday conduct. Our ancestors embedded these values in culture, rituals, and community lives. We never realize those, but those are there. So the challenge today is not discovering new ethics. The challenge is reconnecting ancient wisdom with modern system. And why this matter today? In an age of artificial intelligence, automation, and global digital economies, technology will continue to accelerate. But if ethical thinking does not evolve at the same pace, progress may become dangerous. Innovation without ethics can create harm. Growth without responsibility can damage society. And that is why righteousness governance is not merely desirable, it is essential for the future of humanity. I would like to give a simple metaphor. So allow me to conclude this segment particularly with this simple metaphor. Imagine an organization as a ship sailing in the ocean. Rules and policies are like sails. They help the ship to move forward. But universal righteousness principles are the compass. Without the compass, the ship may move fast, very fast, yet it can be drifted in the wrong direction. So let us look at a short video and the outcome of from this research. Yeah, third video, please. So this is actual research presentation, those who are into research community or research domain. Yes, please. Yeah, so this was my the title of my research. Very briefly, I can navigate you through this. So, yes. Okay, so this was with Pune University. You can see the title is clearly defined with independent variable, dependent variable, research area and respondents. Again, define those ideas, the concepts, the person I was talking about, you know. So this was the moment that changed everything. And there are many, you know, we don't have to spell them out. But at the same time, there are many other people who are doing good in the business and many other domains. So the real question, central question is how to do business morally right. And so it started with a vast literature review, emerged with the three gaps: theoretical gaps, empirical gap, and again, what we can see as the contextual gap. So the third one is very important. It is empirical evidence. And then I happen to align my 7 different research objectives with the research hypothesis. So there were 4 hypotheses, 7 different objectives, and clearly the research methodologies you can see. First 2 objectives were only on framing the concepts, the variables, study variables. The last one was actually delivering the framework. So this was a complete research process. I started with the qualitative phase, as I said, interviews, then quantitative phase. Here, I happen to use uh, the thematic analysis to create the emerging pillars. So this is quantitative phase again, with 24 different multinational companies. We don't have to go into technical details, but these are the hypothesis outcomes after lots of right methodologies or the test, statistical test I used. And then the actual case study. Let us see how it works in the industry. So this has led to us to create a startup, sir. Out of this research, we have already started a startup, and now they are engaged with a couple of industries, bunch of industries. So before, after, you can see the pattern, and I think yes, some key findings are there. So this is the framework. This is the real outcome, and there are many publications in international journals, including there are courses also has been developed on the research. The metaphor I was talking about, I think it will come next. Of course, there are some limitations and scope for further research. This is our team we work with. Yes, and impact is continue. So this was all about, now you can, so this was the metaphor. You can see, is it the but, is it legal? So there are some, so I'll definitely share all these slides and, links with you. Moving further, as I come towards the conclusion of my keynote, allow me to briefly connect the 3 ideas we explored today. We begin with the spirituality maps, right? And then which is the technological effort to help people navigate the inner journey of consciousness. All these things are all these links, and everything is in public domain, so you can go find out. Then we move to Samay Sangeet. You can access online on your mobile phones or computers. In the age of stress, anxiety, and mental overload, I think something healing does not always come from very complex solutions, but it starts with a simple thing, something like harmony. And finally, we explored this research about the URP. So I did this because I believe the progress without compassion is actually a regress. And evolution without ethics is a devolution. And what I like most about this conference is the spirit of access and inclusivity. At this point, I would like to share another part of the journey which connects deeply with the spirit of conference, and that is access and inclusivity. My work in digital platform actually began much earlier with a very personal challenge, a language barrier. When I was young, I struggled to understand English. Like many other students who are from non-English backgrounds, I realized that the language itself can become a barrier to the knowledge. In early 2000, we know nearly 80% of the information on internet was in English. For millions of people, this meant limited access to the knowledge. So I began small experiment. I started building digital dictionaries for Indian languages. And the goal was very simple: help people learn languages, help them translate ideas, help them access knowledge, and almost importantly, help communities exchange knowledge across languages to bring them into mainstream. So, what was started as a small personal solution slowly grew into a much larger platform. Over the last 26 years, that initiative has grown into one of the world's largest Indian language digital platform. Thank you. So that is all teamwork. The sir was saying about the Deccan and the Harvard, but probably, there are many people who are working on, preserving and promoting, not just me, but there are many people and many individuals and institutions are working. I don't have to spell it out. You will find many technologies where the pioneer technologies in Indian languages, including the typing you do on your cell phones or smartphones. So over the last 26 years, it's a long journey. That initiative has grown into one of the largest. So what was started with a single user, and that was none other than me, because I was the victim of this language barrier. Today, we count more than 25 million users across 150 countries. And for me, this journey reinforced a powerful lesson. Knowledge becomes meaningful only when it is accessible and inclusive. So we have to include everyone into mainstream. We have to bring them into mainstream. And technology gives us a historic opportunity to make that possible. See, I'm an AI enthusiast. I am very optimistic and very positive about the future we are entering into. Never before in the history of technology had happened that AI is, I believe, is a gift to the humanity. I was talking to the Kanchi sir. See, the doing job was not the very purpose of humanity since its birth. After the colonization, they trained us, they recruited us, and the concept came the job. And we started for the job, security. Even today, we rush after it. But we have become so busy that we don't have time for ourselves to make a very fundamental question. And my friends, believe me, the technologies, if we look into history and even now in the future, I predict one thing. The AI is a fantastic tool which is giving us ample of time. The work which we have been doing for hours and hours can be done in seconds. So what we will do with this spare time or the available time? The human brain is very thoughtful. We often in certain situations we think about the very fundamental questions. So we have been busy until now, but now onwards, we have so much of time that we'll be making very thoughtful questions. Who we are, who am I, what is the purpose of my life? And I think, that is the real Dnyandarshan. So I thank you all and for your patient listening. And to the university, I'm very grateful for giving me this opportunity to interact with such an highly intellectual room. I always would like to be very humble. I need your, support guidance to move forward. So I have this technology kind of, so-called the passion, and at the same time I'm trying to bridge, because uh, I'm surrounded with a very great people, gurus, spiritual gurus. I'm trying to bring and trying to, when the world is talking about the artificial intelligence, uh, my passion and my keen interest is to talk about the spiritual intelligence, which is going to be the future. Thank you once again, and have a great day.
Yes. I'm sure this was a very interesting expert speech by Khan Bale sir. Any questions for him regarding all his three inventions? About who am I?
Yes, please. Would you mind, where is my edit? Do you mind showing the contact? Yes, sir. The, can you open the contact
They open.
slide? Sir, it is very much public. You will find there are many others. So, prominently, we have two websites. One is khandbahale.com, which is very famous and people know about it. But there is another one which is khandbahale.org. So many people don't know about it. And there we have many social impact projects, technologies. Like we have started, the world's very first Sanskrit radio. So that is the Radio Sanskrit Bharti. 24 by 7 you can listen to Sanskrit. So language is something to be learned by listening only. So there are many things, Bhagavad Gita, Jnaneshwari radio online, many other spirituality maps are there. So you can just visit to khandbahale.org and you will have everything. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So this
The most important
QR
is-
code.
This is QR code for the contact. If one of you are interested, any one of you can fill it up. So that is not something to send money. This is a contact form. You can just have a photograph of it, and you will have the links emailed to you directly. Thank you, sir. Thank you for asking. Any other questions?
Any other questions, please?
The most important thing, all the technologies since I started are free. So you don't have to pay anything, because it has to be in the public domain, which I believe. So you don't have to register, you don't have to create account. It's in public domain. Immediately, without downloading anything, you can have it on your smartphone.
Very nice, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
We break for lunch now, and 2 p.m. sharp we meet here in the hall. Okay. 1 minute, 1 minute. I'm sorry for the change. There is a technical session that will be going on for another half an hour, and then we go for lunch. So those who have got presentations in this hall will remain here. Those who have got presentations in the second hall, that is computer on the same floor, will go to the computer division. Those participants who have got presentation in this hall will remain here. After the technical session, then we go for lunch.
Good afternoon, audience. Before we proceed for lunch, those who are supposed to present the papers at 12 o'clock at this hall will finish a few numbers and then we'll proceed for the lunch because there will be a rush. So let us have some presentations here and then we'll join for the lunch. So 5-6 presenters we will finish now quickly. Before that, let me introduce with the session's chair and co-chair. We are blessed to have a chairperson of this technical session, Professor Vijay Kanchi sir, and co-chair Professor Nagarjun Wadekar sir. Let I have the opportunity to introduce today's chairperson. Though yesterday we already had his biodata and the about him yesterday on the morning session. Still, as a customary, I'm going to read his biodata in few minutes. Professor Vijay Srinath Kanchi sir is a double doctorate in philosophy and library and information science, and a triple postgraduate in library and information science, philosophy and education. Dr. Vijay Srinath Kanchi sir has obtained his second PhD based on his research in manuscript conservations. His first PhD in philosophy was on conscious dreaming and its ontological and epistemological implications. He is a recognized guide of Kavitri Bahinabai Chaudhary, North Maharashtra University, Jalgaon, in library and information science. Presently, 4 scholars are pursuing their PhD degree under his guidance in library and information science. He is a recipient of Best College Librarian Award, Knowledge Resource Center Award in 2026 from the reputed Library Professionals Association, India, in the international conference held in Itanagar, Arunachal Pradesh. He also received the Yoga Ratna Award from Vishwa Yoga Darshan Kendra Sangli, Maharashtra in 2024 for his contribution towards the propagation of forgotten and lesser known yogic practices to the world. And many more laurels to his credit. Without wasting much time, I request today's co-chair, Professor Nagarjun Wadekar sir, to welcome Vijay Kanchi sir and to felicitate him. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Now I request my colleague, Dr. Dayanand Hatyambere sir, to introduce the co-chairperson of this session, Professor Nagarjun Wadekar sir, Director, School of Humanities and Social Sciences.
Good afternoon, everyone. For this technical session, we have with us Director, School of Humanities and Social Sciences, Nagarjun Wadekar, sir. I don't take much of time because we are running out of time. Sir is a Director of School of Humanities and Social Sciences. He has been associated with Yashwantrao Chavan Maharashtra Open University since last 20 many years, and he has to his publications, 5 publications he has. He has been contributed in e-content development, audio video development, and whatnot. So with this, I welcome our co-chairperson, and we'll start with the technical session. So I request sir to please felicitate our co-chairperson by offering a conference kit. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Now let us begin with our technical session presentations. Those who are present over here, please, I guess those whose presentations are in hall number 1, you please be prepared. Okay, I'll call their names and you please start. We have very limited time. You have to present your paper within 5 minutes only. Yeah, please. So our first presenter is Prashant Kulkarni. I guess Prashant Kulkarni sir is there. Please, sir, come on the stage and start your presentation.
A very good afternoon, all of you. Can we wait for the slides or should I start? Okay. So the topic of my presentation is I have done a scoping review on tuberculosis and yoga. So basically coming to the magnitude of the problem. So the tuberculosis is one of the global health problems, and India stands for about 26% of the cases across globe. So every year there are about 25.5 million, 25.5 lakhs cases in India, like diagnosed every year. So it has one of the leading public health emergency or public health problem. So when it comes to TB, it basically affects the lungs. The lungs get weaker, and though the treatment is for 6 months or more than 6 months, depending on the type of tuberculosis, the consequences of TB affects more than medicine. Like it affects psychologically, it affects physically, it affects mentally. So in order to understand this problem more than medicine, we thought like it's better to have a comprehensive model, or if there are any attempts made uh, to understand whether there is any complementary care given along with the treatment. Though the treatment is effective, but the post treatment consequences are still there. And if we see the recurrence rate among TB, it's about 15 to 20% of cases who get treated or who complete their treatment get their recurrence. So in order to understand, I have tried to see whether yoga has any contribution in tuberculosis care. So I have done a scoping review of all the papers published in PubMed and Google Scholar. So I think I'll need some data to present because there are some statistics present in here. So I think I have reviewed across 800 papers, but they were included yoga, tuberculosis, and overall COPD. 800 papers involved everything. But when it comes to specifically for yoga and TB, I just found 8 articles. Yeah. So when while removing duplication and just abstract, yeah, yeah, peer-reviewed journals. So there are papers who have like address COPD issues, HIV, and other public health problems, but specifically focusing on TB and yoga. There are just 8 articles I found. So I did a content analysis of this. Okay, so there were basically focusing on additional complementary care across HIV, then across COPD, and then somewhere of NCD such as hypertension and diabetes. Other diseases, but not specifically for TB. Yes. Correct. Correct. There were like Chinese traditional system as well involved. I forgot the name. Yes, there was. For diabetes management. Huh? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I think there were about 120 such articles who, yeah, who were correct. Correct. Can I just have my presentation, please, so that I can address the themes? Me, Sakai. So basically, the papers were emerged 3 themes. So first theme was basically addresses the effect of yoga on physical and mental health. The other one was complementary care provided by the providers. Like the studies were included asking public health practitioners as well as private care practitioners what advice they give for TB care. So they have mentioned yoga as one of the yeah. Next, please. Come to the findings section. Next. So this I think I have already covered. Next, please. Yeah. So total 542, 322 abstracts, 44 full text reviewed. What is that framework? RKO framework. So it was basically used for scoping review. So it had like 6 steps of doing it systematic scoping review. Next, please. So these were studies, 8 studies selected for the review. Next, please. Pude. Coming. Pude. Yeah. So this was the first emerging theme from the review: the effects of yoga and mind and body effects of yoga and mind body practice on the respiratory health. So it basically says that it has improved respiratory health, respiratory function, and physical capacity. And they have used spirometry for checking the respiratory function or respiratory health. Next, please. The next was effects on neurological, psychological, and sleep-related conditions. So here, like in these papers, they have assessed. Yeah, they have assessed basically anxiety, depression, and other sleeplessness related disorders. Next, please. And the third one, as I already explained, if the contribution or the inquiry made to the private as well as public health practitioners, and they have mentioned complementary medicine as one of the suggestions. Next, please. So to conclude, I would like to say that yoga has showed a potential as a complementary supportive intervention in TB care, and then it may contribute to respiratory recovery, stress education, and improved quality of life. Although like I found these studies as very heterogeneous, so these studies like did not include a very robust kind of trial. So I suggest that there should be some rigorous clinical trials happen in this area, and long-term follow-up is required. Yeah, next, please. So with this, I would like to thank you all, and I would like to know your suggestions and feedback for improvement. Thank you.
Any questions? Any questions? Audience, any questions? No. I got a couple of things.
Sure.
Couple of observations. Would you like to give an observation? Okay, let's go to the last slide, last but one slide. Can I do next slide or
Before the conclusion?
No, conclusion.
Okay.
Gentlemen, see, your study is inconclusive if you use the expression may.
Okay.
Research is expected to be conclusive.
Okay.
Is it not?
Yeah.
So if you say it may have some impact or it may, lead to X, it may, is not really a research.
Okay.
Would you agree to this point?
Yeah.
So it is very important, vitally important that first and foremost, that, the breadth of the articles that you have chosen is just 8. And that too, they speak about, increasing the, respiratory health in terms of, ability to absorb the oxygen, etc. But the problem of tuberculosis is very different. It is owing to the fact that some, microorganism has entered into your body, into the as a bacteria, some bacteria has entered, and because of this, there is some, damage to the lungs.
Correct.
If I'm suffering from asthma and if I do regular pranayam, the story is different. I could, it's only owing to some allergy or some malfunctioning within the body. But in this case, tuberculosis, the bacteria has entered into my system.
Correct.
And it has damaged, alveoli and other parts of my lungs. So equating a research on, improving the respiratory health of a reasonably healthy lungs cannot be equated with, some, microorganism entering and damaging your system. And then if you try to correlate, I think that's not really justifiable.
Okay.
I hope you understand my
No.
point of argument.
Okay.
Fundamentally, these two are very different.
Mm-hmm.
And I received some contagious disease like tuberculosis, and my lungs have suffered physical damage. और उसे मैं अगर मैं इक्वेट करूं कि अगर कोई अस्थमा के पेशेंट के साथ, कि अस्थमा के पेशेंट को प्राणायाम करने से उसके लंग कैपेसिटी बढ़ गई है, they are not really equitable. You cannot equate these two things. So that scoping of the articles based on those 8 articles, which do not actually relate to the main focused area, is very appropriate. That's what I strongly feel.
But then does it mean that there is scarcity of literature? Can we say that?
Yes, then probably there is no reason why you should undertake a research on this particular topic. See, your theme is scoping review, is it not? So you need to have adequate literature. In the absence of adequate literature, you should have shifted your goalpost, and instead of choosing tuberculosis, probably should have chosen some other topic.
But then isn't it a lead to take a primary research on this? Like, since there is scarcity of literature.
Agreed. 8 literature, you have 8 literature.
Right.
And not directly related to tuberculosis, but only related to, respiratory health.
No. 8 papers were on yoga and TB. The others were for other conditions.
So, what was the conclusion of those 8 papers?
They have showed positive effect, as I showed in the 3 themes.
They have shown a possibility of positive effect. Your conclusion says it may contribute. Okay. So, what is the conclusion of those 8 papers?
No. They have said that there was a positive effect.
If they had said, instead of using that may, you should have said,
okay, my
scoping review has revealed that there is a positive impact of pranayam and other techniques, yoga techniques, on the betterment of the health of the tuberculosis patients. Okay. That should have been your scoping review. Sure. I hope that is a very important distinction that we all need to focus on.
Okay.
Thank you. Overall, the topic is good. Obviously, doing a scoping review itself takes a lot of time and energy, which you have very much invested. I appreciate you for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Next, you're going to do a presentation. Okay, good. Yoga as a lifestyle. Okay, this is you. Okay. Health of the holistic approach. Rivadani yoga. Okay.
सर्वांना नमस्कार. आजच्या ज्ञानदर्शन 2026 या सेमिनारमध्ये माझा सब्जेक्ट आहे योग ॲज ए लाईफस्टाईल, अ पाथवे टू अकॅडमिक परफॉर्मन्स. ह्या विषयाला अनुसरून मी या ठिकाणी विचार मांडणार आहे. माझा रिसर्चचा सब्जेक्ट जो आहे त्याबद्दल मी चिंतन करणार आहे. मेन जे आहे शिक्षणाच्या संदर्भात हा रिसर्च आहे. एज्युकेशन प्लेज व्हायटल रोल इन द होलिस्टिक डेव्हलपमेंट ऑफ स्टुडंट्स. ह्या महत्वाच्या मुद्द्याला अनुसरून हा रिसर्च केलेला आहे. मुलांना सध्याच्या स्थितीमध्ये काय काय फेस करावं लागतं. अकॅडमिक प्रेशर, कॉम्पिटिशन, डिजिटल डिस्ट्रॅक्शन. दिस फॅक्टर अफेक्ट मेंटल हेल्थ, कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन इन अकॅडमिक परफॉर्मन्स. ह्या सर्व गोष्टींना विद्यार्थ्यांना फेस करावं लागतं आणि त्याच्यामुळं अनेक चॅलेंजेस त्यांच्यामुळं पुढं निर्माण होतात. म्हणून हा सब्जेक्ट घेण्यात आलेला आहे. याच्यासाठी काय गरज आहे? नीड फॉर द स्टडी, नीड फॉर द प्रॅक्टिस दॅट इम्प्रूव्ह मेंटल स्टॅबिलिटी, कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन, इमोशनल बॅलन्स. योग प्रोव्हाइड्स ए होलिस्टिक सोल्युशन increasing stress and anxiety among students, lack of focus due to technology and social media. यासाठी मेन मुद्दा आपण विचारात घेतलेला आहे. व्हॉट इज योग. आपण योगला फक्त एक्सरसाइज म्हणून ट्रीट करतो.
ते नको सर. नेक्स्ट व्हॉट इज योगा इज
ओके
इज अ नोन थिंग.
तर मेन सब्जेक्ट आहे त्यांना कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन फोकस करण्याकरता अष्टांग योग मध्ये आपल्याला त्यांना मी शिकवतो. अष्टांग योगचे जे काही 8 लिम्स आहेत ते मुलांना Okay. Okay. Literature review. The previous studies show that yoga helps in improving concentration, enhancing memory, reducing stress and anxiety, developing emotional stability. Researching support yoga benefit BKS Iyengar, Swami Satyananda, World Health Organization. Research objective. The study aimed to analyze the impact of yoga on academic performance, examine yoga's rules in reducing stress, evaluate behavioral improvement, assess cognitive development, identify challenges in implementing yoga in school, use method quantitative, methodology, questionnaires, academic performance record, and observation. Research area. The research was conducted in Sri Swami Samarth English Medium School at Chakan, Mahatma Phule Jagruti Mandal Mahavidyalay, Bhosri, location Pune, India. Participation secondary school students. Impact of Ashtanga Yoga academic performance. Student reported feeling calm and relaxed. Student practicing yoga showed improved concentration, better memory retention, improved classroom attention, better examination results, psychological benefits. Yoga help students to reduce stress, reduce anxiety, improve emotional stability, increase confidence. Cognitive benefit. Regular yoga practice improved creativity, critical thinking, problem solving skill, mental clarity. Behavioral improvement. Students showed improvements in discipline, patience, positive attitude, self control. Yoga help develop responsible behavior and moral values. Challenges in implementation. Some challenges observed were lack of trained yoga instructor, limited time in school schedule, lack of awareness about yoga benefits. Conclusion. Yoga significantly improve academic performance. It enhance concentration, memory, and cognitive skill. Yoga reduce stress and anxiety in supports holistic development of students. Yoga should be integrated into school education as a lifestyle practice. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Any questions? We will have a quick review of your presentation, sir. Sir,
Okay.
बोलता का?
Yeah. I just saw that there were too many objectives,
Hmm.
and you haven't mentioned the number of respondents.
Huh.
There
There were 400 students conducted in this
What was
research.
the duration?
Duration in two time in a week, 45 minutes per class.
How long this study was conducted?
8 months.
Okay, so what
वो
did you?
वाइटल डेटा था आपके इसमें।
Yeah, you.
वो नहीं है, बाकी सब रखने के उपयोग नहीं है।
Okay, okay.
Sir, you may please.
Okay, okay, okay.
Gentlemen, the problem.
Yes.
हाँ, sir. Any other points? सर मुझे एक बात बताइए।
Yes, sir.
समझो मैं एक रिसर्च करना चाहता हूँ कि पानी पीने से प्यास बुझता है क्या? मैं रिसर्च कंडक्ट कर सकता हूँ उस विषय पे? और मैं फाइंडिंग यही करूंगा कि हाँ पानी पीने से प्यास बुझता है, तो मेरा रिसर्च का कुछ उपयोग है क्या? आपने वो रिसर्च किया है जिसके बारे में आपका लिटरेचर रिव्यू खुद कहता है कि योग के कारण से सकारात्मक परिणाम होता है, बराबर?
Right.
आपके फाइंडिंग से कुछ नया निकला है क्या कि नहीं सकारात्मक परिणाम होता है लेकिन फलाना फलाना, या नहीं सकारात्मक परिणाम नहीं होता है, नया कुछ निकला है क्या? जो ऑलरेडी पता है, सबको पता है कि पानी पीने से प्यास बुझती है, तो अगर मैं दोबारा उसके ऊपर अगर मैं स्टडी करता हूं, अगर वो टॉपिक को चुनता हूं, मुझे ऐसा कुछ रिजल्ट मिलना चाहिए, नहीं पानी पीने के बावजूद भी प्यास नहीं बुझती है, देखिए ये फलाना कंडीशन है, इसके ऊपर किसी का ध्यान नहीं, या तो होना चाहिए।
वो जो
ये वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट है। मुझे टॉपिक को चुनने से पहले जो जिसे संस्कृत में कहते हैं चर्विता चर्वणम, मतलब जो ऑलरेडी लोगों के पास पता है उसी को अगर मैं रिपीट करूं तो वो रिसर्च का कोई उपयोग नहीं, बराबर है ना? सो फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट मुद्दा है कि मुझे टॉपिक चुनते टाइम पे क्या ऑलरेडी उसके ऊपर स्टडी हुआ है, उस स्टडी से मेरा नतीजा क्या अलग होने वाला है, उसमें स्कोप मुझे नजर आता है तो ही मुझे करना है, नहीं तो ऑलरेडी लोगों ने कर चुके हैं। तो उस चीज पे दोबारा मुझे काम करने में कोई अर्थ नहीं होता।
सर एक्चुअली आपका बिल्कुल सही है, हमने वो भी इसमें लिखा था, फिर भी क्या है वो टाइम के शेड्यूल की वजह से मैं पूरा इतना बता नहीं सका, नहीं तो मैं
हाँ,
1 मंथ से वो पूरा
उल्टा मैं
मेरा
आपको
प्रैक्टिस चालू है।
हाँ जी, एक स्लाइड ऊपर का करो सर। उल्टा क्या हो सकता था, आपने
Yes, sir.
जो चैलेंजेस
बता
आइडेंटिफाई
दो,
किया
गाइड
है, एक सेकंड से एक थोड़ा ध्यान दीजिए।
हाँ।
आपने जो चैलेंजेस आइडेंटिफाई किया, इनके ऊपर आपका रिसर्च होना चाहिए था। लैक ऑफ ट्रेंड योगा इंस्ट्रक्टर्स के बावजूद भी क्या क्लासरूम्स में योग का इंस्ट्रक्शन हो सकता है? What are the alternative methodologies that can be adopted by a school? Limited time in the school schedules में भी योग को कैसे incorporate किया जा सकता है? This could be a very good study. आपने challenges जो identify किया और आपने छोड़ दिया बाकी लोगों को, भाई इसके ऊपर रिसर्च करो, फ्यूचर रिसर्चर्स को। Instead, you should have taken initiative on these 3 areas, either of those areas, and then come up with a conclusion. That would have really benefited the society.
राइट,
Instead of saying,
एक्चुअली सर हमने ऐसा ही किया है कि जो पीटी के जो क्लासेस होते हैं ना, उसमें हमने टाइम का जो एडजस्टमेंट किया है और उसमें हम ले रहे
वो फाइंडिंग, वो रिसर्च है, वो आपका मेन रिसर्च है।
राइट
वो उससे जो है यहाँ जितने भी लोग बैठे हैं हम सभी को वो फायदा होगा। अच्छा, किसी स्कूल में हम भी रिकमेंड कर सकते हैं, अरे हीरामन सर का फलाना रिसर्च है, उसके आधार पे आप स्कूल में ये चेंजेस लाओ। राइट, दैट वुड हैव बीन रियली बेनिफिशियल। इंस्टेड ऑफ सिंपली सेइंग पानी पीने से प्यास बुझता है, इट वुड रियली डजंट मेक एनी न्यू एडिशन टू द एग्जिस्टिंग बॉडी ऑफ नॉलेज। सबको पता है योग करने से कंसंट्रेशन बढ़ता है, योग करने से रिटेंशन पावर बढ़ता है, तो फिर मेरा क्या कंट्रीब्यूशन है? सो दैट इज समथिंग वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट आई वांटेड टू ब्रिंग टू योर नोटिस।
आई विल ट्राई टू ऐड दिस।
यस सर, यस। एनीवे, आई थिंक वी शुड कंक्लूड।
The title also is very broad and loose. Yoga as a lifestyle.
Correct. That's also a very broad topic. Topic shall have to be specific. A research is basically a focused activity. मुझे फोकस में ही काम करना है, उसी को रिसर्च कहते हैं। मैं अगर जनरल बातें बताऊंगा तो वो रिसर्च नहीं होगा। ओके, गुड सर। एनीवे, थैंक यू वेरी मच। आप आपके चैलेंजेस पे रिसर्च कीजिए, बहुत फायदा साबित होगा। प्लीज
Madam, good afternoon, one and all. It is actually a review of articles. My topic is health, a holistic approach through Ayurveda and yoga. Myself, PhD scholar, Dr. Rachna Chandrakant Taware, and my guide name is Dr.
You are a PhD scholar, or you have already completed your PhD?
The PG scholar, but I'm part-time PhD going on. I am teacher.
Okay, you are a doctor by profession.
Yes, I am associate
pursuing a
professor.
PhD.
Yes.
You are a doctor pursuing your PhD.
Yes.
अच्छा, ठीक है।
Okay. As we know, yoga, Ashtanga yoga. Aim of my study paper is to systematic review on health holistic approach through Ayurveda and yoga. Objective to review the past article studies on yoga Ayurveda to make a systematic review.
Next.
On role of yoga and Ayurveda to maintain health. Okay. Introduction. As all we know, yoga and Ayurveda are originated from same philosophy, culture, and country. They look human being from same holistic angle. Ayurveda is the science of life or longevity. Yoga is the science of thinking individual self with the universal self. Mental stress, obesity, diabetes, hypertension, dyslipidemia, coronary heart diseases, chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases are fast-growing epidemics. Yes. Yoga is effective in prevention and as well as treatment of this all lifestyle diseases. Okay. Mental stress and depression. It has been shown that yoga decreases anxiety, stress, level of cerebral cortisol as well as plasma renin level, 24-hour urine norepinephrine and epinephrine level. This may be possible mechanism for the effect of yoga on mental stress and depression. Overweight and obesity. Daily practice of 1 hour yoga shows that it decreases body weight, body mass index, waist hip ratio. Hypertension. Regular yogis practice for daily 1 hour found that effective controlling blood pressure in hypertensive subject. This may be due to normalization of autonomic cardiovascular rhythm as result of increased vagal modulation and decrease in sympathetic activity improves baroreflexes sensitivity. Coronary heart diseases. In randomized controlled study, patient with angiographically proven coronary artery disease who practice yoga exercise for a period of 1 year shows a decrease in number of anginal episode per week, improve exercise capacity, decrease in body weight. Revascularization also less required in these cases. Yoga exercise increase regression and retard progression of atherosclerosis in the patient with severe coronary heart diseases. Yoga-based lifestyle modification help integration of coronary region, improving myocardial perfusion, which translated into clinical benefits and symptomatic treatment. Coronary obstructive pulmonary diseases (COPD). Yoga training significantly improve lung function and strength of inspiratory and expiratory muscles. Yoga postures, pranayama and meditation improve severe measures of pulmonary function in subjects having mild or moderate bronchial eczema and a decreased exercise-induced bronchoconstriction. Conclusion. Thus, I can conclude that from above literature, it is clear that daily practice of yoga important to maintain health and prevention of lifestyle disorder. Thank you. These are some references which are taken.
Next.
Actually, basically, it is only a review of all articles and what effect is done in patients and a possible mechanism of action. It is not an experimental study. It is only review of articles.
Yes. Any questions? Sir, would you like
When
to
it
say?
is a review, it is not conclusive. Like what exactly you are not coming to any focused point. Like what exactly is been mentioned, what comes out of this review. That is not actually seen over here. It is very general.
Second
introductory
slide.
kind of.
Shuru mein. Second slide.
Okay, sir.
Madam, I
Talk
also.
about asanas and all. Only pranayama is one word that comes. But what are these articles talking about? Which asanas are helping reduce obesity and all that? So that nothing conclusive is there.
Madam, I also have a couple of suggestions and observations.
Yes.
First and foremost, let's start systematically. Objective 1 and 2 में फर्क क्या है मुझे बताइए. इधर देखिए. Objective 1 and 2 are basically the same.
Actually, yes.
है ना? To review the past research studies on yoga and Ayurveda, to make a systematic review on the role of yoga and Ayurveda to maintain health. So basically, you are doing the same thing, but where is the necessity to talk about the same thing in two different expressions?
Okay.
Your objective will have to be different from the second objective. है ना? मैं यहाँ से उधर जाता हूँ, फिर वहां से आगे जाता हूँ. ये मेरा ऑब्जेक्टिव हो सकता है. मैं यहाँ से उधर जाता हूँ, इसी को मैं दूसरे तरीके से मैं एक्सप्रेस करूंगा तो उसका उपयोग नहीं होगा. करेक्ट? दैट इज पॉइंट नंबर 1. सेकंड, आपका ये रिसर्च पेपर है कि रिव्यू पेपर है?
Review paper.
It is called, yes, good. I'm happy. This is not a research paper. This is a review paper. बराबर ना? ये डिस्टिंक्शन हमें दिमाग में क्लियरली रखना चाहिए.
Yes.
अभी मुझे एक बात बताइए. नेक्स्ट आगे स्लाइड जाओ. और आगे. हाँ मैडम, ये 3 जो है एक लिंक है. बराबर है ना? ये
Yes, yes.
3 जो है
ये रेफरेंस की लिंक है.
रेफरेंस की लिंक है. बराबर है ना? तो मतलब आपने सिर्फ क्या किया है? अच्छा, मुझे एक बात बताइए. ये यहाँ पहुंचने से पहले और एक डिस्कस करेंगे. रिव्यू में आपने रिव्यू किया है कि समराइज किया है? दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट ऑल स्कॉलर्स मस्ट अंडरस्टैंड. आपने जो किया है ये समराइजेशन है कि रिव्यू है?
एक्चुअली फर्स्ट रिव्यू किया, उसके बाद समराइजेशन किया.
नहीं मैडम, आपने जो किया इसको कहते हैं समराइजेशन.
Okay.
इसने 10 पेज में उसका सारांश ये है, इसका 9 पेज में सारांश है, इसके 3 पेज में सारांश है. दिस इज कॉल्ड समराइजेशन. समराइजेशन कोई भी करेगा, इवन 5th स्टैंडर्ड के बच्चा भी करेगा. एक रिसर्च स्कॉलर का से ये अभिप्रेत नहीं कि वो समराइजेशन करे. आपको करना क्या है? आपको रिव्यू करना है. रिव्यू यानी क्या है? कनेक्टिंग एंड क्रिएटिंग ए पाथ. इन्होंने ऐसा कहा है, इस रिसर्च के फाइंडिंग से ऐसा आ रहा है, लेकिन इससे जो है कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स आ रहे हैं, इसको एड्रेस करने के लिए ये रिसर्च हुआ है. So what you are trying to first plant dots and then connect with your narration. Okay. That is what is called review. अभी सर ने जो बोला है ना, आपका क्या उसमें कुछ खास नहीं आया है, because the problem is you simply put different things, the summaries of different papers. वो तो आप कॉपी पेस्ट किया तो भी वो आ जाएगा. आगे थोड़ा 2 स्लाइड आगे बढ़ो, थोड़ा आगे. मैडम बुरा मत मानो, मतलब मैं आपसे मैं डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ ताकि हम बेहतर रिसर्चर्स बने. मैं ओनली इंटेंशन सिंपल, हमारा आउटपुट बहुत अच्छे तरीके से होना चाहिए. नेक्स्ट आगे एक थोड़ा आगे जाओ, और एक आगे जाओ, और यस रुको, नहीं प्री आपने इतना भी टाइम आपके पास नहीं था कि उसको लिंक को डिलीट करे. मतलब वहां पे किसी ने जैसे रिसर्च रैबिट होता है, परप्लेक्सिटी होती है, वो आपको जो है समरी उसका निकाल के दे देता है. उसको आपने कॉपी करके आपने अगर समझो, अगर आपने एक पीपीटी बनाई, आपका कंट्रीब्यूशन क्या है?
वहां से ही मैंने उठाया और उसको रेफरेंस दिया है सर.
नहीं, रेफरेंस देने के लिए फिर आपको लिंक रखने की जरूरत है ना. यू कुड सिंपली से 9 and 10. आपको समझ में आ रहा है? ये उठाया गया है ऑनलाइन रिसोर्स से, तो इसीलिए वो अंडरलाइन आया है.
वो 9 पुढचे रेफरेंस दाखवा, बरं पुढची स्लाइड दाखवा. 9 and 10 है ना, वो मैंने रेफरेंस के लिए.
मैडम आप नहीं समझ रहे मैं क्या कह रहा हूँ.
आई गॉट
9 and 10 में कोई आपत्ति नहीं है. 9 and 10 लिंक होना, वो यूआरएल वाली लिंक होना, इसका मतलब है आपने वहां से उठाया है और यहाँ पे देखिए अभी
9 नंबर का वो है ना सर, रेडी सर का, रेडी टीपी का, उनका वो है सर.
एग्रीड. तो वो वहां पे यूआरएल का लिंक क्यों है?
क्योंकि वो स्लाइड पे आता है.
आई डोंट नो हाउ टू एक्सप्रेस दिस पॉइंट. You have simply copied an idea from a URL and simply pasted it. आप अगर उसको आपने कोट किया होगा तो आप नाउ जरूर आएगा, रेडी जरूर आएगा, लेकिन वो लिंक नहीं रहेगा. Are you getting the point? This is very important.
त्या क्लिकवर लिंक केलं ना की ते दिसतं सर. ते त्याला काय म्हणतात, हाइपर लिंक केलंय ते.
है ना, वो हाइपर लिंक नहीं होना चाहिए.
मैंने किया है.
नो नहीं किया है.
That will lead to this slide.
आएगा. एक मिनट, वो 9 नंबर को क्लिक करो. No, not this. हाँ, yes. No, you click on that hyperlink.
No, you remove the slideshow. Escape करो उसको, slideshow को. Okay, वो slide पे आके.
अब.
हाँ, no, previous. Go back. जो आपने रेफरेंस लिया है वो वहां पे जाओ.
ठीक है, लेट्स नॉट वेस्ट टाइम. मैडम मेरा सिर्फ इतना कहना है. हाँ ओके ठीक है. नो, फिर 10 भी आना चाहिए. सिंगल लिंक में 2 तो कनेक्ट नहीं हो सकते. आपका 9 and 10 है ना, उसको क्लिक करूंगा तो 9 आ रहा है. 10 क्यों नहीं आ रहा है?
वो सेम पेज पे है ना सर, 9 and 10.
No, where is the 10th? Is the 10th available on the same page? I don't think. Was 10th on the same page?
Yes.
They were together.
Sir,
no, if they were together and you have created the link, I have no objection. But you have simply lifted from some source, and if you have copied it.
You also given a link to number 9. Why that is ready 9 is given?
हाँ. Madam, my simple submission is simple. Research is a serious activity where. हाँ.
नहीं आएगा because you don't have that control and. No, it will not come. No, you are not kept the file in that folder.
ठीक है. Anyway, appreciable. The only point is couple of submissions. What you have done is a summary, not a review. So there is no much contribution from your side, which is not expected of a research scholar. A research scholar is expected to connect dots, disparate ideas together. You have to weave it into a beautiful, meaningful, single unitary idea. That is your contribution, which seems to be lacking. So anyway, good, appreciable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Or we can have one more. Shall we have one more candidate? और एक कैंड करते हैं, फिर then we'll take break. हाँ, एक लेंगे ना. हाँ, no issue. हाँ नहीं, इसलिए एक तो हो जाएगा, 5-6 तो हो जाएंगे ना अब तक तो. I think 3 या 4 हुआ. नहीं 3 हुआ है.
और बहुत कैंडिडेट फिर ब्रेक के बाद ही करेंगे.
ब्रेक सबको भूख लगी है मैडम, सबको भूख लगी है. हाँ, we'll take a break.